Hi there, I'm Katrina, and this is my assignment 5 email server. So to start, I'm going to explain the changes I made to my main config and my master config files. To start, I'm in the main config, and then here's just a couple things that I did change. So I take a bit scrolling down. So I set my host name as mail.kgibson.com. That is my host name of my mail server. My domain, I have it listed as kgibson.com because that's what it is. My origin, uncommented it. It just uses it as it says here. That if, for consistency between sender and recipient, just make sure that my domain gets appended on any addresses that don't have any domains on it. I set my interfaces to all and set them all to IPv4 just to make sure everything worked properly. I set the destination to my host name, then localhost, my domain, localhost, and then my domain, just ensuring that the email goes through and the recipient gets what they need. Here are my networks I'm using. So this is my 192.168.224 network, which is what the subnet that I'm on with my DNS name servers. And then this is my internal localhost, the loopback network. Here, the home mailbox is maildir slash. So I enabled maildir delivery so that each user, they can get the mail in their home user maildir folder. Here is my certificate file. It's mail.kgibson.com.cert, and it's key file. This is for the TLS. This is to get in also to the round cube. Now I'm in my master config file. This is to enable postfix to use Amavis. I hope I'm saying that right. That's for the spam. So I added the new transport. So it's this one right here, SMTP Amavis. So Amavis will tell postfix to send all of the incoming messages to it just for processing, and it's all the different options. So there's like a timeout for data. There's X forward, limiting the number of Amavis connections. And then down here, this is the internal or the loopback subnet. So here the SMTP Amavis is going to listen eternally and it will forward the messages to Amavis on port on 124. So then after they scan for the viruses and the spam, it will return the clean messages back to postfix on this port right here, 125. All right, now we're going to send a manual email through Telnet. So this is connected to Telnet right now. It only says connection refused because I'm not listening on IPv6. I'm just using IPv4. So yeah, here for what I've used my samples for my emails, I used Garfield and Snoopy. They've had some beef. So for the subject, test from Telnet. So we can put anything we want for what we write in our email. Right now it's going to look a little funny, but oh well. We can put in I love food. Finish that off. Quit. Alright, now I'm going to send an email using the mail command. Right now I'm logged in as Garfield and his mail. Just because I want this to be from Garfield, not just like my home K Gibson. So he's gonna say he needs food. He's gonna say he's gonna be pushy and tell Snoopy to give him some food. Alright, now it's time to use swaps, test some sends with my email server. Oh, there we go. We got the hello message. Okay, from Garfield to Snoopy. Test mailing. Perfect. Alright, so now we want to see where Snoopy's emails have gone. So right now we're looking in the home of the Snoopy's Maildir. This is current emails. So here we've got a lot of them here. I've been sending a couple between the two couple days. So we'll check our most recent one here. So we'll just do this. So I was having trouble figuring out what the name would be. So it's including everything within here. So this is the last email we sent. No spam, nothing. This is received to Snoopy from Garfield. This was the Swax here. That's what it was for. To make sure everything went through. This should be when we used with the mail command. So yeah, I need food. Give me food, Snoopy. That was the subject. And this email should be the one we sent with Telnet. I love food. Yeah, test from Telnet. There you go. Here we get the mail log. So here we go. This is just showing everything here, connecting, disconnected, just whenever we logged out. So they all have a QID, and the ID is used to track the emails through the postfix queue. Alright, here are the two commands you can use to watch the mail queue. So it's literally mail queue. Obviously the mail queue is empty since we've already sent all our emails. And watch -n1 in quotations mail queue. That is to watch it as it's happening. So you can watch it in real time. Every 1 second, it's gonna re-upload. Obviously, without sending emails, the queue will be empty. Now it's time for the Dovecot configuration changes. Right, I'm in Dovecot 10-mail config file. And all I've changed is the mail location, and it's going to be going to the Maildir folder, which I've shown before. It's like home, the user's name, and then Maildir. Alright, now this is the authentication config. So I've disabled plain text authorization. This had happened when I replaced everything with the start TLS and the cert. When I wasn't using that, I had disabled plain text off. So right now it's not being used since I have a more encrypted system. And then for authentication mechanisms, we have the plain login. And then finally, this is the Dovecot SSL config, which is what I'm using for my TSL, my start TSL to log in and make sure it's all encrypted. So this is the required SSL. Here's my cert, and here's the key. And now it's time to use Thunderbird, which I liked a lot better than just the Linux commands. As you see, they've had a little disagreement. Here's all our ones from on Linux, Swax. This one kind of got out of hand with just how I was trying to quit it. Oops. So here's Garfield's inbox. Snoopy hasn't been that talkative. Garfield's been doing most of the talking. But it's been a lot of fun. So we can just send, let's do from Snoopy to Garfield. So we can send that. Let me see here, ding, popped up. Let me see. And then we can send one back to Snoopy. And that goes back into Snoopy's inbox there. So right now we're going to demo that an email that's sent to the admin@kgibson.com alias user is going to be sent to multiple users, which I'm going to be using Garfield and Snoopy, obviously. The aliases right now for my mail server. So I just added admins, and it should be going to Garfield and Snoopy. So we're gonna look at new aliases. Okay, and this is the email we'll be sending to both of them. They should both get at the same time because I'm sending it to admins@kingdom.com, which is that's their alias right now. And I saw two things pop up. I saw two emails pop up in Thunderbird. And also they both got it. So right now we're in Snoopy. Yep. And just there you go. And Garfield got it as well. We gotta run TCP dump on the IMAP and SMTP ports. That's what it's looking at right now. And we're gonna send some more emails between Garfield and Snoopy. Send that out. Between the two. And we're gonna check the TCP dump. We see within here, we see all the interactions within the DNS and my mail server's IP. And you can see there's IMAP, and you can see what's the SMTP. So this is my self-signed certificate. So here's NIMO, VIU, ITAS, mail at kgibson.com. So here's looking at everything. Now it's time to send some spam emails. So here's one that's already done. Now we're gonna test, and we'll send that. Here we go. We see it's got labeled spam. Got all this. Look at the header. So we see here, virus scan. Yep, amavis@example.com. Spam flag, yes. Spam score, spam level, spam status. So this tells you about all the different things about the spam email here. For my ClamAV signature updates, this is for the cron part. I used the Fresh Clam updater. See, Fresh Clam. And I configured the cron job within cron D, ClamAV, Fresh Clam, and they'll run it once per hour as the root, and that will make sure that ClamAV's virus signatures are kept up to date automatically. Here's my cron job for Spam Assassin. So I may turn to its own cron job, same with the ClamAV, put in the cron D, or cron.d, whatever, folder under Spam Assassin Update. So it's running silently every 6 hours, and it will reload Spam Assassin to update any signatures or anything else. Now it's time for the malware virus test. So Garfield's gonna send Snoopy eCars antivirus test file. It should get blocked, and then I should see in my logs that it got blocked because it was a virus. Okay, so it's sent. Snoopy never received it, so we can go check our mail logs. So looking in the mail log here, we see the email was blocked, infected, eCar signature, and then it was discarded because it was infected with the eCar signature. Alright, now it's time for the open relay test. So just looking at the bottom of my main config file for postfix, this is just confirming that it only permits my networks. So my 192.168.224.0 network, along with my this is only authenticated users only. So that'd be Snoopy and Garfield, and this is to reject any unauthorized users. Alright, now it's time for my open relay test. So let's do telnet. And we see here the relay was access denied because those two are not authenticated domains. Now we're going to log into the Roundcube webmail. So here, this is log in. This is, I get the warning because it's a self-signed certificate. I wasn't able to fix that, so I'm just going to leave it as my self-signed certificate here, mail.kf.com, VIU, ICHAS, and all of that. So we're going to proceed, and we're going to sign in with Garfield. Log in here, we see all his messages that he's gotten, all that. So let's send another one within here to Snoopy. Okay, we'll send this with it. Perfect, message sent. And we can see here what has popped up. So we were able to send the email through with the attachment. Perfect. All right, now it's part 6, which is the start TLS. So to start, I'm at Wireshark right now, and I'm looking at an unencrypted email. This is within port 25, SMTP. So this is without start TLS, just to show you. So we see here, we can see everything, who's it from, who's it to. You can just see like the mail server, you can see everything within these packets just to start. So I'm going to enable start TLS, and then we'll do a Wireshark capture of that and show how it's actually encrypted and won't show any of the stuff within here. Okay, so we'll start with Snoopy. So this is for the SMTP. So right now it's our server name here. So we're using the port 587 for the encryption, and we're using start TLS. We're using our normal password, username Snoopy. This is the same for Garfield, just with a different username, obviously. This is for the IMAP settings. So we have the server name. We're using port 143. Snoopy. We're using a self-signed certificate. Start TLS. And that's also the same for Garfield over here. So what we can do, we're going to change the Wireshark to make sure it captures this. Okay, now we're going to start fresh on Wireshark. So we'll be looking at the TCP port 587, the SMTP, the encryption, or the IMAP port, which is 143. All right. So Snoopy has gotten that email here. And we'll take a look in Wireshark. We can see here. I'm not seeing any unencrypted emails. We get the client hello, but that is the only thing we would see. We wouldn't see the actual what the email said or the users being sent to. That's how it's encrypted. So I've talked a little bit about the start TLS configuration changes I made on the config files, like the main and the master. On the master, I did do a bit more than within the time that I was filming this. So I had to uncomment this. This is for the port 587, just to let it go through. So it's encrypted and it permits. But other than that, I didn't have to do too many different changes compared to when I first showed the config files, which I had already pointed out a little bit on what was used for the start TLS. Alright, and now here's the little extra things you'd want to see. So right now this is my firewall, it looks like. And they have the ports 25 and 587 specifically open because the other ones never caused any problems like these ones did. Here are the services, which HTTPS, IMAP, SMTP, and SSH are all open and working. Same with Cockpit and DHCP v6. No rich rules for this one. Here's my SE Linux adjustments here. Nothing too much So my host name here is mail.kategibson.com. Time and date, America, Vancouver. Right now it is 4:15. Here is an Nmap of listening ports. So we got 587, 993, 143, 25, 80, 443. So I ran the Nmap scan of my mail server on my name server, and so shows that I have these ports open. So 22 my SSH, 25 SMTP, 143 IMAP, 443 which is SSL HTTP, 587 which is the other SMTP. So those are all open, and that's all I have open so far. So it's looking pretty good. So this has been my final assignment for this class, assignment 5, email servers. Thank you for listening.